Hey guys, my name is Miss Stafford, and today we're going to be doing a lesson all about color. We're going to talk about the rainbow today, and we're going to talk about what it means when it's applied to the pride flag, the meanings of the different colors, and then we're going to take our rainbow and we're going to turn it into a color wheel. And we're going to talk a little bit about how we use the color wheel in art. We're going to learn what types of colors there are and what types of color families there are, what colors do when you put them together. So it'll be really cool, even if you're older and you've already explored the color wheel. It never hurts to go back and relearn some of these concepts and try it again. So today you're just going to need crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever you like best, and some sort of paper that you can draw on so that you can follow along.
Okay,
Thanks.
so we are going to get started. We're going to start with some sort of pencil, usually. If you feel comfortable using a marker, you can. I'm going to start with a marker because it's a little bit easier for you to see what's going on here. If I draw with a pencil, you won't really be able to see it very easily. So we're going to start by making a rainbow. It doesn't have to be a rainbow. You can do lots of versions of the rainbow, but we want to draw a rainbow so that we can look at it and use it to make our color wheel from later on. And you only want to use like the top portion of your paper. You don't want to make it super giant and fill up the whole paper unless you have a lot of paper with you. So I'll show you a few examples of ways you can play around with the rainbow. You could do a pride flag. You could do a regular classic rainbow. These ones I turned hearts, these like oozy hearts into a rainbow. You could just do like a rainbow scale. You could do letters and make them into rainbow colors. So we're just gonna I'm gonna make a classic rainbow just to be easy. So starting off, I'm gonna make a big arc. Now there's gonna be several lines we're gonna put in here. So try to stay with me, but I'll try to go slow too so that you have time. We're gonna go right alongside that first line we made, and it's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine might be kind of wonky in some spots, so don't stress out about it. This is just for fun. And we're going parallel to that first line. Parallel means that they're directly next to each other, but they never cross. We're gonna go again. Right here is where I get kind of wonky on my rainbow. Something that you can do that I really can't do because I'm recording, but you can really turn your paper and get comfortable with your hand. However, it's easy. If you have to turn your paper to get your rainbow looking nicer, you can. I'm trying not to turn mine too much because I don't want to make it hard for you to see. Okay, so we have two colors. We need to keep going. So this is what I mean. I would turn my paper. And see how much easier it is? So do what's comfortable for you. We have 1, 2, 3 colors. We're gonna make another stripe. And there are variations of rainbows. The classic rainbow has 7 colors in it. We're gonna make a 6-color rainbow today. Some of the pride flags vary too. You might see a pride flag that has teal in it, like a bright teal turquoise color, or a black and a brown stripe added onto them. So there's lots of variations. But for the color wheel activity today, we're just gonna go with a basic 6-color rainbow. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. So we need to add another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more. I'm gonna use my little advice I gave to you. Boom. So there we have our rainbow. Now you can decide what you want to do. You could do pots of gold, you could do clouds, you could just draw a straight line and make your rainbow straight on the end. You can make it drippy and oozy like I did with those hearts. I'm just gonna make a little cloud on each side. However you want, it's up to you. Okay, so now that you have your rainbow, I want to write over here something that helped me when I was younger learning the rainbow colors. It was Roy G. Biv. It's supposed to sound kind of like a name, Roy G. Biv. These are actually the rainbow colors in order. This is for a 7-color rainbow, but the R is for red, the O is for orange, the Y is for yellow, the G is for green. What do you think the blue's for? Oh, I said it. I ruined it. It's okay. The B's for blue. This is a tricky one. What's the I for? Indigo. So like I said, not all rainbows have indigo in them. This last one's gonna be violet. So that's like our little cheat code over here. So Roy G. Biv, that's a good way to remember the rainbow colors. Today, we're gonna ignore the I part. Okay, so let's start coloring our rainbow. Red first is always gonna go on the outside. I'm using these really cool like Crayola Super Tips markers. They're pretty inexpensive. You can get them at like a grocery store or like a Walmart. Sometimes they're even in like CVS and Walgreens. I really like them because you get 100 colors in the larger box of them, and they have, you can draw on their sides like this and make them fat, or you can draw on the ends like that on the tip and make a skinny line. So they're really cool. It's probably why they're called Super Tips. And as you see, I'm turning my paper also just to make it easier to color. So I picked a nice juicy red color, like the color of an apple red. I'm gonna pick a nice classic orange next. I'm gonna go right next to my red. And take your time, try not to color over the lines. We're all gonna have different skills of coloring. You might be doing a really more advanced looking rainbow type picture, like I did the hearts, you know, or like the flag. So if you're an older kid and you're just giving a try something new, you don't want to draw a regular rainbow maybe, and you want to do something more challenging, just remember, take your time and have fun with it. And some of us might just want to do a classic rainbow anyway, just because every once in a while it's kind of fun to do something that maybe you do when you were a kid. If I have any adults, parents, or anyone following along, you can always join in on this activity too. It's pretty easy and pretty fun. It's cool to reconnect with those things we used to doodle when we were kids. So I am a little over halfway through my rainbow, and I'm following that acronym Roy G. Biv that we talked about. Red, orange, yellow, green. Next would be blue. And when I'm down at the base here by the cloud, I go a little bit slower. And then when you get up into the stripes, you can go a little faster. I slow down here around the curve. So just knowing when to take your time and when you can kind of zip through it a little quicker. See, I might go right here next to it first and just make it a nice edge and then blend it up in there. So we're gonna skip indigo, remember, but indigo, it looks something like this. It's kind of in between blue and purple or violet, whichever you prefer to call it. I'm gonna jump right to violet for today. Again, you could add that turquoise stripe or a brown and black stripe if you wanted to kind of represent those extra stripes that get put into there sometimes. But like I said, we're going with 6 colors today. Keep it a little bit more simplified. So this is my rainbow. Now, when we're talking about the rainbow being a symbol of pride and being really the pride flag itself, right here as we see, each stripe on the flag means something. So each color has a cool meaning. Sometimes the colors vary. Sometimes they mean different things on different flags, or you might see, even if you Google it, you might see some of them have multiple meanings or slightly different meanings. But for the most part, red, and we're gonna take some sort of Sharpie or pencil again, and we're gonna write these in on their stripes. Red means life. So usually that's what the red stripe means. It has other meanings too, but we're gonna go with life today. Orange generally means healing. Yellow is for sunlight. Thinking about a nice sunny day, that light looks very yellow coming down from the sun. Green is nature. We're all creatures of nature. Whether you're a plant or an animal or a human, we were all made out of the same things found in nature. Blue, I've seen a lot of double meanings for blue, so we're going to put two of them. Serenity is one of them. Serenity. You can even put a little slash here and put harmony. And then the last one, purple or violet, is going to be spirit. So I'll put that way for you. Check and make sure I'm not going off my screen. Yep, I'm good. So there's our rainbow. We're going to use the rainbow though as a guideline because most of us are familiar with the rainbow or we're familiar with the pride flag or both. So we're going to use this as sort of a jumping off point when we learn our color wheel. So today we're going to make a color wheel below this and we're going to reference our rainbow to help us through. So we want to start with the first three colors, and these are called the primary colors. Now, I'm going to make my rainbow out of fun little shapes. You could do just like circles, you could do squares or diamonds, it's up to you. I'm going to start with hearts. I'm going to make my, my primary colors hearts, and I'm going to make them in like a triangle shape. So imagining they're like the points of a triangle. If we were to connect them with this invisible line, it would make a triangle. Now, the primary colors are the original three colors. You can't make these colors out of other paints. Like if you have a paint set and you want to build these three colors, you can mix and mix and mix, but you really will have a hard time making them. So they're the original colors. All the other colors come from these three colors. So our first primary color is red. Remember, red was the color of life. So just taking my time, I'm going to color that first top heart in red. Now our second primary color is yellow. So this one over here, I'm going to make yellow. Pretty cool. And our third primary color is blue. Red, yellow, and blue. These three colors make all the other colors. So life, sunlight, and serenity and harmony. Boom. Okay, so we have our primary colors. Down here at the bottom, something that you might want to do, and you don't have to, but I might put a little heart at the bottom of my paper here and make a little key. So if I'm looking at it, it helps me remember which shapes mean which things. So the hearts are going to be primary colors. Now we're going to do secondary colors. And these are colors that most of you are still familiar with. No matter how old you are, how young you are, you still usually know these. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to make our triangle upside down. So somewhere over here, I'm going to turn my secondary colors into a jewel shape. And you don't have to make the same shapes as me. You can make whatever shapes you like, but I'm going to make them like a jewel shape because I think it's kind of fun. And we're trying to make them the same size, but they don't have to be perfect. Make sure I'm still recording. Cool. Awesome. Sorry, I have to get up and double check. Okay, my last one's down here. Cool. So there's my 3. Remember, if you drew an invisible line here, it would connect in a triangle. So this is where we're going to use our rainbow to kind of help us decide which colors make what. So the rainbow is going to kind of help us cheat a little bit. If we have red and yellow and we look up at our rainbow, we have red and yellow here. The color in between them, just like on the color wheel, is going to be the color that these 2 colors make when you mix them. So if you mix red and yellow, the 2 primaries, you're going to get the color right in between, which is orange. So I'm going to take my orange, and this little gem right here between the red and yellow, I'm going to color it in orange. Cool. Now you're going to do the same thing between yellow and blue. So between yellow and blue, we have what color? Green. So in between yellow and blue, we're going to color this gem green. Awesome. Last one, I'm sure you can figure it out. What comes between, well, this one's a little trickier. What comes between blue and red? If we started our rainbow order again, red would probably land right here, and we would go red, orange, yellow, green, and go that way. So imagining red's here and blue's here, what would be between them? Purple. Some of us call it violet, some of us call it purple. Either way is correct. We'll call it purple today just to keep it simple. And something that we can do, you can go back and you can label your colors. Red, yellow, blue, orange, green, violet, or purple. Okay, now we're going to learn about tertiary or intermediate colors. So we'll add our gemstone down here to our key, and we'll write secondary. For the intermediate or tertiary colors, I'm going to use a cloud shape. Now, we're going to call them, let's call them intermediate to be easy, but tertiary is another name for them. Intermediate. And that just kind of means the in-between colors, because sometimes we see a color that's not quite red and it's not quite orange, but maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe it's more like a red-orange. So checking that we're still good. Yes. Okay. So in between, I'm going to draw these little cloud shapes in these empty spaces. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 clouds. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. You may have to blend some of your colors together. I have the Super Tips pack, so I have all kinds of colors. If you have this cool pack of markers at home, or if you have a pack that has a lot of colors in it, you might have to fish through and find one that's a little bit red and a little bit orange to make red-orange. And if you don't have that, you can try to layer your colors, even if you're using crayons, colored pencils, it doesn't really matter. You can layer them together. You can color really gentle with red and really gentle with orange, and then layer them together, and they'll start to make a red-orange color. And with marker, it can be a little bit trickier to blend your colors if your paper isn't super thick. It might kind of get like soggy on the paper and rip the paper. So just be careful, do your best. Remember, this is just kind of for learning purposes and for fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. If your red-orange doesn't turn out, it's fine. Red-orange is kind of tricky to make. And you can see even this one looks a little bit closer to orange than it does to red. But that's my red-orange color. And when we name our intermediate colors, we always put the primary color first. So it wouldn't be orange-red because that would be secondary primary. We got to go primary color first, red-orange. So red-orange. In between orange and yellow, we have, would it be orange-yellow or would it be yellow-orange? Which one's the primary? Yellow. So it'd be yellow-orange. So when we name this one, yellow is going to come first. Now you can see my yellow-orange is a little bit more just like a darker yellow. That's okay. Like I said, we want it to be kind of a mixture of the two, but close as you can get it. Yellow dash orange. Boom. Okay. Now you get the point. Yellow green, right? So yellow green will be sort of a mixture of both of those. This one is kind of too green in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yellow, and while my marker's still wet, I'm going to color right on top with my yellow and blend them together. Now when you do this with markers, look what happens. You get a little bit on you. So something you might want to do, clean up your marker a little bit. You don't want to get any green on you. This should be yellow. You're yellow, not green. Okay. In between this one, we have a lot of names for this color. We might call it turquoise or teal, but on the color wheel, we're going to call it blue-green. And I'm going in little circular motions for my cloud shapes because it kind of, those round motions fit nicely along the round edges. So it helps me not color outside of the lines as bad. Oh, we forgot to label. Yellow, green, and blue, green. So now we're really building our color wheel. We only have 2 colors left. So we have to do blue violet. And this is that color we talked about on the original rainbow with Roy G. Biv. Indigo, right? Indigo is something we would call this, or we would call it blue violet. But it's going to be really dark, and it's going to be a mixture of blue and purple. And this one is almost a little bit too blue, so I might even come in and add just a little bit of purple to it. Remember, if you're using marker or crayon too, kind of clean it off. So blue violet or indigo. And our last color, is it going to be violet red or red violet? Red violet, yeah, it's going to be red violet because red is our primary and we want to put that first when we name our color. So, coloring in those circles again. Now this is another one, kind of looks a little too red, so I might add just a little bit of purple to it. And clean it off on the back. Okay, let's label that last color. Red, violet. Ta-da! Now, these colors do really cool things, and that's the last thing that we're going to talk about is some of the cool stuff that these colors do together and how we can use the color wheel as a tool. Let me check and make sure I'm still good. Okay. So, the color wheel is a really cool tool. You can do it like this. We're going to draw with a different color, kind of like a box line that goes in between these two. Red and green are completely opposite from each other on the color wheel, and so we call them complementary colors. When colors are completely across from each other, blue and orange, blue violet and yellow orange, red violet and yellow green, red orange and blue green, violet and purple, or violet and purple, violet and yellow, those are complements. If you could draw a line straight across, that's how you can find the complement. Colors that live right next to each other, we're going to make another kind of curved box line here, are called analogous colors. These are like the colors that are neighbors to each other. So you can do 3 or even 4 in a row. analogous. Now, we have some extra space, or maybe, hopefully you do. If not, it's okay. You can just follow along. I'm going to write complementary over here. And I'm going to write analogous over here. And we're going to talk just a quick second about this before we finish up. So, complementary colors are totally opposite. So if I put red and green next to each other, they clash a lot. They don't go together really. They work against each other and they create what we call contrast. So that could be something you even write in here. Contrast. When things really clash together and look really kind of bold next to each other. Now what's cool with complements is if you color them one on top of the other, you can make what we call a neutral. And that's going to be like a brown color. Now, I just used my green, so I'm going to clean it off on the back really quick. And you might even use your finger to pick up a little bit of that to make it lighter. But it makes this kind of like mucky brown color. When you mix complements together, you can make brown. So if you're ever in a pinch and you don't have brown, mix opposite colors on the color wheel and you can make them. Let's take our yellow-orange, our yellow, and our yellow-green. Now these are analogous. They're color neighbors. So yellow-orange, yellow, and green. And you can follow along. You can do these over here and make these little things that help us. When these are together, they don't really clash. They look like they all belong to the same family. They look like they could be cousins. This would be something we would call unity. When things are working together, you could even say like harmony, which was our blue stripe. So unity and harmony, when things are kind of working together, they're peaceful, they're not clashing. These colors are an example of unity, analogous colors. You can do it with any three colors, yellow, green, green, and blue, green, violet, violet, and red. I'm just gonna make little boxes over here like that, just to section them off. So those are just the last couple things I wanted to talk about today. Oh, and we can even put here neutral, because brown is a neutral. So we just turned our rainbow into a color wheel, and we talked about all these other ways that you can use colors to work together or to work against each other, to have contrast or unity. So next time you're trying to decide how to color a picture or how to make a painting or draw something cool, I want you to think about the rainbow and think about the color wheel and how these colors can relate to each other and help each other pop out of the picture more or blend together more. So I hope you enjoyed our activity today, and thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry, I just realized when I went back to my video, I cut some of my stuff off. So I want to show you, this is my complementary. I put the red and the green next to each other and on top of each other, and I made neutral. And then over here was my analogous. There wasn't much, just putting those colors next to each other to show you. And this was my key at the bottom. So sorry that got cut off. Hopefully you can add this onto your picture to make it awesome.